Welcome to HDiiTV. You're now rocking with your boy.
Wasn't enough that he apologized. Now they're trying to rob. I believe they're trying to rob the man of his dignity. They're trying to make him grovel to come and get his job back. And I don't agree with that. A man said he was sorry. Hey, I was wrong. Yeah, I would have loved to see him. Hey, I shared a link to my page. It was brought to my attention that I offended a group of people. And for that, I would like to say I'm sincerely sorry. That was not my intention. In the hope of trying to enlighten and educate my people, I was disrespectful, I was disparaging to another group of people. Could have said that, Skip, and maybe it wouldn't have gotten to this point. They gave him this manifesto, Skip, of what they want him to. I'm like, now come on, y'all guys know. Yeah, y'all did, Skip. It's kind of like you build a relationship, and the other party say, well, okay, I need you to do this. I said I was sorry, but that's not enough. No. Now I need to rob you of something to put you to let you know. Cause Skip, I need to. Right now, what Brooklyn's trying to do, they try to put him in front of all the world to see. You see what happens if you do this, others. This is what could possibly happen to you. I don't agree with that, Skip. I think that's a bit. For me, that's a bit much. And I've been very critical of Kyrie. But I think what Brooklyn is doing now, that's a bit much.
Well, that was Shannon Sharpe responding to it. The Nets were basically trying to say, what they wanted him to do to come back and get his job. Hold on. Okay, let's see. All right, fair use, Zach for all of the streams I'm doing.
New reporting about what it will take to get Brooklyn Nets point guard Kyrieirving back on the basketball court this evening. Irving is obviously, and Irving never returned a single one of his text messages, unquote. I'm joined now by an NBA legend and outspoken advocate for social justice issues, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, number 33. So good to see you again, Kareem. What should it take for Irving to return to the court? What do you think of this list of requirements?
Well, I think Kyrie has to understand what's happening. He's being unwittingly used to promote hatred and anti-Semitism. And even though he doesn't see himself as being anti-Semitic by joining forces and making posts like that, he can be used. And I think that's what's happened.
You're not new to this fight. 2 years ago when Philadelphia Eagles' Deshaun Jackson tweeted anti-Semitic comments, you wrote in the Hollywood Reporter, quote, "If we're going to be outraged by injustice, let's be outraged by injustice against anyone," unquote. It seems to be a similar circumstance here, the same kinds of tropes from Deshaun Jackson, Kyrieirving, Ye, a.k.a. Kanye West. Why? Why do they all seem so similar?
I think the lack of awareness of the harm that they're doing, both to the black community and to other communities, the LGBT community, the Latinx community, all of these marginalized communities are all really in one lump. If we don't try to protect everyone, we won't protect anyone. We have to have that attitude about it and make sure that all marginalized groups receive the same protection as the groups that are used to getting that protection and feeling safe.
I saw a post by a Jewish American saying that Jews are in a way in a bind here, in a catch-22. If they do something, if they protest the kinds of statements that Kyrieirving put out there, which is, that documentary is full of invented nonsense and lies about Jews being Satanists and that sort of thing. If they protest and there are consequences, then supporters of Kyrieirving say, oh, look, see, Jews are powerful, we're not allowed to say anything about them, blah, blah, blah. And if Jews don't do anything about it, then the hate just continues unfettered. It's really a no-win situation.
Well, a number of blacks expected support during the Black Lives Matters movement, and they got that help. But when the reverse was necessary, we ended up with silence. And for weeks, Jews and Jewish kids were picked on and singled out, and we can't let that happen. The condemnation of anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination has to be immediately announced and pointed out so that everybody understands what's going on and who the culprits are. And when we can do that, we're going to make some progress, because the people who aren't educated on these issues will start to wise up.
You know, what's interesting also is there's a quote in the documentary that Kyrie Irving helped promote, supposedly from a Democratic Senate aide. He was the guy was killed in 1976 by terrorists. But the quote was invented by white supremacists, I think in Idaho, in 1978, 2 years after he died. And it just makes me wonder how much the white supremacist movement is using their hate to get blacks to hate Jews, when it's all based on the same hatred that they have for Jews, blacks, everyone.
There was a group of haters that put a sign up on one of the freeway overpasses here in Los Angeles, and it tried to give Kanye some support. You can't do that. We have to identify the people who are behind all of this and point it out to them that they are wrong and that they need to be educated. And till we can get that far, we've got a lot of work to do.
You also recently wrote that, quote, laziness is what is threatening democracy, unquote. With the midterms tomorrow, I wonder how much of our politics you fear is defined by what you call laziness.
Well, people who won't vote, or who think that it's not necessary to vote, they are wasting their vote, and they are really calling some very negative attention to what's going on in our country by not voting, by the apathy. We can't be apathetic. We have to go out there and let people know how we feel, and the vote is the way to go.
Before you go, I have to ask
a number.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say a number of NBA venues are being used tomorrow for voting sites, because it's that important. And I hope people, understand that and get out and do their duty.
Absolutely, 100%. Whoever you're voting for, exercise your right to vote. Before you go, though, I do have to ask you about your thoughts on LeBron James possibly breaking your career points record.
Well, whenever he decides to do it, he deserves any and all of the accolades that he has earned. He didn't get those points just sitting around on his butt. He worked hard for it. So whatever happens, more power to him. He's earned it.
That's gracious of you to say. No surprise that you would say it.
All right, I'm done with that bullshit. You heard that propaganda bullshit? Look, I'm going to address Shannon Sharpe first, and then I'm going to destroy Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Shannon Sharpe, what do you think your bass mouth face ass thought would happen? Huh? Did you actually think that they wouldn't go this hard on Kyrie? And first of all, you heard in the interview, it was just saying some devil. You could tell he just watched. He was given something from somebody who probably took a look at it, and that wasn't the case. In the documentary, from the beginning of what I was watching, all it was doing was just explaining where blacks were coming from and how the slave trade started, where history started for us as men and women of black color, of the color black, had nothing to do with trying to, destroy or tear everybody down, and that's BS. Shannon Sharpe, what do you think was going to happen? Of course they were going to crucify Kyrie and make him do that. That's why Jaylen Brown came out after CJ McCollum did a Sambo move. Jaylen Brown came out and said as the vice president, oh no, we're going to appeal this as the players union. Because that's bull crap. The man says sorry. He gave a donation. Now you're trying to go extra hard. Y'all didn't go this extra hard for Myers Leonard when he used the N-word. Y'all didn't go this extra hard for Robert Sarver. Hell, Robert Sarver been doing this for 2 decades. He's been using the N-word and being belligerent, but y'all ain't say nothing until recently because y'all wanted to because y'all don't want him no more. Come on, man. Look, Shannon Sharpe is what I've said, a coon, a house Negro, a Sambo. He's all of that, all of the above. And now all of a sudden, because he's been getting destroyed on Twitter, he's been blocking people because he can't handle when he's getting destroyed. But I thought you said about I thought you said the same thing. I thought you said the same thing about let's see. Didn't you say that Kevin Durant is sensitive? Didn't you say that? Right? Didn't you say that? Didn't you say like all these athletes like on Twitter are like sensitive? Well, you being sensitive. Why you blocking folk? You blocked Kevin Durant the first time when he was flaming your ass like some hot Cheetos. But all of a sudden you want to jump right into your little cave and say, man, whatever. Then all of a sudden, because you see Kyrie getting it extra hard. And Kareem, let me talk about your bitch ass. I never get on my elders, but dog, you gonna get flamed. Let me ask you something, Kareem. Do you remember what they did to you in Milwaukee when you changed your name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Do you remember how they treated you like the N-word? They treated you like crap. Similar to how Boston did Bill Russell. They were doing you the same way in Milwaukee. You asked for a trade, right? When you went out to LA, how did the media treat you? The media treated you like shit because they saw you standing up for something. What happened to you, man? Kyrie just retweeted something, didn't say nothing, didn't do nothing wrong. Just like I had to debunk Trey and other people like him last night and other nights. Kyrie has never really done nothing. The only thing Kyrie did was when he just left the team without letting anybody know, and then when he flicked off the Boston Celtics fans. Those are the only 2 incidents. But other than that, what has he done to really destroy a team? He hasn't. You see, the narrative continues to try to paint Kyrie as doing this or promoting a movie and that. He wasn't promoting it. He just retweeted. That's not promoting. Promoting is if he was out there 24 hours a day telling you about the movie. He just retweeted it. That was it. Then they tried to make it, oh, well, the white supremacists are pushing blacks. Why does blacks got to be pushed to do what? Why aren't you calling out the Jews? The Jews had a big part of the Atlantic slave trade and other slave trades. Those who were that were controlling the Arabs in Iraq and all of that stuff, the Middle East and everything. See how they did the Palestinians? Look how they did the Hebrews. They did the Hebrews just like the Palestinians. So that's all I'm saying is like we've got to get out of that mindset of being brainwashed and being told what is right and what's not right. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you's a bitch. Shannon Sharpe, you's a bitch. You guys have done nothing but coon, toe the line, You haven't done nothing for the race. You haven't done nothing for the cause. You haven't done nothing for anything. And I'm sick and tired of you, along with Democrats, along with Republicans. All of you all could get in a barrel and get burnt up. That's how I feel. We should have had our own political party. We should have had our own league. We should have had our own stuff. We should have stayed segregated. We don't need white people. And that's the problem with black folks. You really think we need them? We don't. We don't need them. We don't need them at all. They want you to believe in the idea that you need them. You don't. And a lot of the older heads like Kareem talking about, well, they want us to take with Black Lives. Black Lives Matter is not for black folks. Those are a bunch of lesbian women who got together and used it for personal gain. That's why the BLM leader, who was the director, stepped down, Kareem. And then you was up there reading from a damn teleprompter. I could tell because you was just sounding real bland and real robotic. Then they slipped in that, well, LeBron is close to breaking your record. How do you feel about that? F you and LeBron. Y'all two sombo ass dudes. Who cares about the record? LeBron ain't a top 100 player. He's probably a top 10 athlete of all time. If you want to say athlete, yeah. Talent, yeah. He's probably top 10, top 15 at worst. But if we're talking about skill as a basketball player, dude, like 120 of all time. It's like, come on. You guys have forever been trying to put this guy in the same breath with the Kobe's, the Jordans, all of them. He's not. And to slip his name in there was downright stupid. And for you to say what you said about Kyrie is very despicable, disrespectful, and very, very non-empathetic, as well as you don't know what the hell you're talking about. He didn't say anything. He just did a retweet. None of you guys are getting on Joe's side in his involvement with Alibaba and the genociding of people in his country. But we're not going to say nothing about that, right? That's why I feel Jaylen Brown. Thank you, Jaylen Brown, for coming out and stepping up to the plate saying, no, we're going to appeal this, which you guys need to, because this is nothing but bullshit. And Adam Silver not having any balls. Thank y'all for listening. I'm out. Deezy.